The Darkest Evening by Cleeves, published by Pan Macmillan and set in beautiful Northumberland just a few days before Christmas. There's snow on the landscape, and of course that is part of the wonderful setting that Cleeves has created in this book. This is number 9 in the Vera Stanhope series. Now, you may be familiar with Vera from the previous books, or you might have seen the TV adaptation, which is really popular. And she conjures up a sort of a larger lady who likes to wear her wellies. She's fairly scruffy. She drives a battered Land Rover, and she always wears a hat that's kind of jammed down on her head. She doesn't give two hoots to anyone what they think about her. She just gets on with her job of investigating for the police, and of course there is another mystery down the line coming up here. So she's driving along in Northumberland, the snow is coming down, and she comes across a car that's been rammed into the side, and the back door is open. It's a really cold evening. She looks in the back door, and there is a tiny child in his seat, and she suspects that the driver is a female because the car seat is jammed up close to the steering wheel, so it has to be someone quite small. And so she bundles up the child and takes him to the nearest house, illuminated, where there's obviously a party happening, and this happens to be Brockburn. Now, Brockburn has a history for her. So here is Vera on the doorstep of this large pile called Brockburn, and it transpires that she suddenly remembers that in fact her father was one of the relatives. So here in the house currently are the posh people. There is Vera in her wellies with a little baby in tow, and that is going to sort of cause a kind of prickly moment as they all work out who everyone is. There's obviously a party going on, and she's not particularly welcome here. Her relationship is through her father, who perhaps was the black sheep of the family, one might have guessed. But it's really interesting because Northumberland has lots and lots of these old ancestral homes. For example, last year I went to Cheeseburn. It had a couple of open weekends, and that is an amazing building that has a park full of modern sculptures that you can visit, and the family still lives there. There's also Kirk Hull, that's come into the 21st century by having a lot of shopping venues where you can buy some really interesting stuff from Northumberland. So there are an awful lot of really large, rather beautiful buildings that you can tour round in some shape or form when you come to visit Northumberland. And Cleeves is great for promoting this beautiful part of the area. So the story basically goes around Northumberland. Brockburn Hall is about an hour's drive to Newcastle. She also has a characters going to Newcastle because one of the characters of Brockburn is a theatre director, an actor, and he wants to bring theatre out into the remote wilds of Northumberland. So there's an awful lot going on in the book, which makes it so very readable. The police put out a trace on the abandoned car, and they soon discover that it is registered to one Connie Brown. Now, Connie Brown is an older woman, and so in no way could she be the child's mother. But soon the body of a younger woman is found, and that is Lorna Falstone. And yes, it transpires that she is indeed the mother of Thomas, who is now established. His grandparents have been traced. Vera starts looking into Lorna's background, and it takes her to Cumbria, and she finds that there were quite a few issues there. But she also discovers that her family at Brockburn also have some secrets. And I think this is what Cleeves does so well. She feeds in threads, she feeds in potential perpetrators, and she keeps you guessing in a very nice and tailored way. Keeps you guessing right to the end of the story. So enjoy this new read of hers. It's a good one.